A webinar on machine learning, deep learning, hands-on experiments. RDBS Geeta Deep Enterprises. In association with Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Ichokaranji. Sponsored by Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers.
Welcome to a webinar on machine learning, deep learning, hands-on experimentation. With the remembrance of Sri Ganesh, the god of technology, let's begin with the session of our first day webinar. As we have planned for how to install tools required for such a hands-on experimentation, first of all, let's begin from choosing particular machine configuration required for the experimentation. There are a variety of generations of Intel processors are available in the market. For these experimentations, we are purely sticking with CPU based experimentations. Well, as far as we are concerned with CPU choice, i3, i5, i7 of Intel are the best one. If you are having third generation processors, then also there is no issue. There are 10th generation processors available these days in the market. Well, why to choose i3, i5, i7 is just because we are sticking with 64-bit platform of the operating system. We are choosing for this experimentation Windows platform, as many of the participants in this workshop may not be having Linux-based platform for the experimentation. Most of the time, or almost all the time, I used to prefer Ubuntu-based platforms. Right from Ubuntu 14.04 to Ubuntu 18.04, I have tried variety of experimentations. 14.04 stands for April launch of 2014, 18.04 stands for April launch of 2018. Well, let's keep apart this Linux-based platform discussion. Let's begin with Windows operating system. Windows operating system, we are sticking with Windows 10 64-bit version only. Well, you may have installed Windows 10 Home Edition, Windows 10 Pro Edition. Whichever the choice you have done for installation, there is no issue or there is no big difference as far as our experimentation is concerned. I am using Windows 10 Pro trial version while doing this experiment. So even if you are not having Windows licensed version and if you are trying for 1 month trial period of this operating system, then also it is fine. Well, I am not concerned with marketing strategies or Windows product requirements. Well, whatever is required in our experimentation, that is the only concern while talking regarding Windows platform. Hence after, also there may be some sort of a dominance or discrimination associated with this operating system. Well, there is no any big intention for discriminating actual Windows product. Whatever the problems or challenges are involved in this experimentation, that is only the intention of discussing the problems. And that is why most of the time open source tools required for this experimentation are to be installed on open source operating systems such as Ubuntu. Just like as I said, most of the participants today are having Windows operating system. Let's begin with the setup process required, tools required in this experimentation. While selecting tools in machine learning, deep learning platform experimentations, we are sticking with TensorFlow. Well, TensorFlow is open source platform and periodically they are launching their versions. TensorFlow and then Keras along with which we are sticking with pandas for data access, database files in CSV format or whatever. Next to that, image processing, we are not using directly OpenCV. It may involve SK image package from scikit-learn or Pillow package. Well, for all these experimentations, we are using Python language for the programming. Why to stick with Python is having some important strategy or important aspect. In important aspect of selecting Python language is that Python will have lot of forums available online. So if you are sticking or if you are having any problem while programming using Python language, you may find it easily to solve by referring some online forums, because similar type of problems might have faced from multiple people. Apart from this list of tools, we have to also select particular version of tools. While installing Python on Windows, we are sticking with Python 3.5 version. Well, Python 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. All these Python versions are belonging to Python 3 version only. It is not Python 2. So we are sticking with Python 3 only and Python 3.5 version. Why 3.5? Why such an older version? Just because I have been experimenting this version from long, since the day it has been launched. Well, as the version goes on changing, it may happen that required packages will also have to be upgraded in some sense. When you are involved with highly complex environment required for your research application implementations, in such cases, version selection is very much important task. So for that purpose, for our experimentation, we will be using Python 3.5. Next to that, there is TensorFlow 2.21 version available in the market. You can simply download this version and install. Well, sticking with Python is having one more advantage, that you have to simply download these versions and have to install only. As these are having GNU licensing schemes, you can use these tools directly into your applications. Well, as far as commercial aspects are concerned, you can refer to particular tools' original websites and then you can decide whenever you want to use them. We are concerned with education purpose of this tool and we are trying to learn how to use these tools in our target applications.
This is screenshot of Python 3.5.1 from python.org. Visit python.org website and from there you choose this version of Python. Make sure that you are selecting Python 64-bit. After that, make one folder on your computer with the name required softwares. In these required softwares, you will be downloading all the required packages in our entire session of webinar. After that, download the package from python.org and save it over here. After that, double click on the package that is set up for Python 3.5.1 and you will be asked to choose the run option. Then this window will be launched. This window is having one option to register the environmental variable. You have to enable that registration of environmental variable and default path is been chosen for installation. Click over it and next installation window will start. Once the installation is completed, setup successful message will be shown on the screen. It's time to check the setup is been successful and it is been identified from command prompt. So click start button, type cmd and choose command prompt. From there, you are in Windows System 32. cd space dot dot will bring you out of that folder again, and we'll come to at C prompt, type Python. So that version will be displayed. That means installation of Python is successful. This is Python console shown over here. So come out of Python console now to install further packages. So type exit and then empty bracket. So you will leave Python console and then back to command prompt. Typing exit only here, you can exit command prompt. Now let us take the ownership of the Python installation folder. Go to users directory, then your name, then go enable hidden icons by choosing view and then hidden, show hidden, then app data, in that local, then programs, then Python. Here inside this Python is installed, Python 3.5. So you have to take ownership of this Python installation. So right click over it and then select properties. Go to security and then advanced. Here you will find change option here. Click over it. This window will be launched. Click on advanced. Now here you have to click on find now. So it will search all the ownership possibilities. I will choose my name and click, then OK, then apply. After applying this, you will actually get the ownership. After taking ownership, we will go for full access control. This message is clicked on OK. Then after that, click on add, then go to select principal, click over here, again similar window, advanced, then find now, then choose your name and then OK, OK, and then full control, so that will actually provide you the access, then OK, then apply. This way you have taken entire ownership of the Python folder. Now close this window by pressing OK, this OK. After this we will be able to install required packages in the Python. For installation of required packages, there is a requirement of virtual environment. We will use pip virtual environment. There is also one parallel version, Anaconda. So first of all, let us upgrade pip. Pip3 command we will be using to call pip environment from Python 3. Using this command, you will be able to upgrade pip. Now sometimes on Windows platforms, though we have taken ownership, due to some sort of temporary files, such an error is displayed. Simply press up arrow, so previous command will be shown, and press enter. Now requirement is already satisfied message is been displayed. Means installation is successful. Next to that, let us install TensorFlow. 1.14 version we will be using. So install TensorFlow equal to 1.14.0. Pressing enter will start downloading the TensorFlow. And why to go for 1.14 is just because to get aside from the compatibility issues. So though there are 2.21, 2.20 versions are available, there are little bit compatibility issues from older Python version codes to newer TensorFlow, And to avoid these issues, we will be using TensorFlow 1.14 version only. This version is having variety of contributions also from different authors. The contributions, that is pre-trained networks we will be using in our experiments, all those will be available in TensorFlow 1.14. In TensorFlow 2.20 and 2.21 are also it is available, but calling them in Python code using 3.5 version of the Python will have little problems. Again, if similar kind of a problem, just like earlier it was in red line, here it is in white line, so similar command we will have to run. Yes, here red line problem is there, so similar problem of having access to temporary files. So again, you can take the ownership of temporary folder also to avoid such ambiguities, or simply you rerun the command. It will show that requirement is already satisfied for second installation attempt. You will not have to worry about the number of attempts for installation whenever you are using virtual environment, because if already there is similar installation available, it will simply get overwritten while reinstalling it. So now required packages along with TensorFlow will be automatically downloaded. If you have already downloaded, it will simply take those already downloaded packages. This is the benefit of using pip environment, that re-downloading issues are totally avoided. Next to that is installation procedure is going on. It will take little extra time also on your machine depending on your machine configuration. At the time of machine configuration, I forgot to tell you that it should be consider RAM configuration also. So minimum 4 GB RAM. If you are having 8 GB RAM, well and good. If you are having 16 GB RAM, then it is more than sufficient. So accordingly the speed of operations will be there. Well, as far as installation is concerned, your internet speed is also important to be considered. So because if you are having little less connectivity or less bandwidth, then it may take extra time to install. So here it shows that requirement is already satisfied, means installation is been successful. So now let us install Keras. Well, Keras is additional front end for TensorFlow. So Keras runs on the platform or backend of considering as a TensorFlow. So little easy coding strategy is been available using Keras, and also little optimization. So overloading on the processor is avoided using Keras. Well, this is totally dependent on your project or applications. Yes, again similar red error. I am rerunning this program again to install, and then it is running. Yes, that's the problem regarding Windows. Okay, that's why we stick with the Linux mostly. But yes, here now we will install Pandas. But according to the requirement from the participants, as most of them are having Windows platforms only, we are conducting this webinar hands-on experimentation on Windows platform. Well, another aspect of considering Linux is that most of the time Windows platforms are consuming lot of hardware resources. Means out of total 4 GB RAM, almost 2.5 GB has been occupied by Windows only, operating system only, because of appearance and all these required strategies of operating system. And to avoid such problems, we will be using, if you are using Ubuntu, then you will get more availability of the resources and better speed of operations. In case of Ubuntu, I have seen that it will not occupy more than 1.5 GB of the RAM out of 4 GB RAM. So you can understand there is almost 1 GB of difference. So this shows that we will have to rerun this command for Pandas. Again, just simply here it has not indicated in red, but for the sake of assurance, rerun every command. It will not take much time to override the installation in case of pip environment, but rerunning the command will assure definitely the installation done for particular package. Next to that is installation of scikit-learn. Well, scikit-learn, below these packages are required to handle the image processing. Also OpenCV you can use for the sake of pre-processing of images. But as per my plan, we will be using skimage or pillow for our pre-processing requirements, because simple pre-processing tasks we will be handling. If there are little complex, then when to go for OpenCV, that also I will be discussing in upcoming sessions of the webinar. So we will be completing here pillow installation and scikit-learn installation. In both the cases, again you will find access denied kind of a problem to temporary files of downloading. You simply rerun those commands and you will find better installation, perfect installation. As already we have discussed, 10th generation processor are available today in the market. Yes, here I get a similar kind of error of accessing. So I will rerun this command. This time it will not take much time. Simply it will install collected packages. So now installation is completed. Yes, this is how we have completed our installation of required packages for today's session. Now we will go for checking the required installation. Type Python. You will get into Python console, then import TensorFlow as TF. TF is the TensorFlow object. So it has not shown any indicator, any error, but warnings. Next to that, TensorFlow, whether it is correctly installed. For that we will declare one variable, x1 is equal to tf.constant in the circular bracket and then square bracket 1 2 3 4. So it is declared as a tensor, x2 as a tf.constant in the bracket 5 6 7 8. So here again it is declared as a tensor. Now let us write about the required operation. So result is equal to, we will call multiplication operation from TensorFlow for x1 x2 variable. Next to that we have to run this in terms of session. So call session of TensorFlow, assign it to ses variable, then call this session in print command using run argument, run method of session. So ses.run inside a bracket result. So this way x1 and x2 will be taken in to multiply and result will be printed like this. So this way it shows that TensorFlow is properly installed. So
well, after this TensorFlow testing, our installation requirement for primary experimentations are sufficient. Whenever additional packages are required to be installed, On that day session, I will again add up these screen shots or screen recordings with our webinar. Well, today we have discussed that which tools we are using and how to install them, along with ending session of TensorFlow working test in Python console. After this, we will be going for programming using TensorFlow Keras packages for image processing, and along with skimage package for pre-processing Pillow, and also we have installed OpenCV as an additional part. Once I finalize today for tomorrow's session requirement for pre-processing, accordingly the tool setup requirements will be added in next day sessions. Well, after this session completion, you will find, if you have not attended this session right from start, or if you have missed something, some part of the discussion, you can start your session once again in the schedules displayed on the website rdbsgde.com register page. Visit register page to access the next session of today's webinar. This webinar will be broadcasted continuously for 15 days. Daily you can check for the installation requirements. 1st June, that means today's webinar, will be available up to 15th of June for 15 days. Tomorrow's, that is 2nd June webinar, will be made available up to 16th of June, and so on. So up to 23rd of June, all these sessions will be accessible for you. There is no extra charge required to be registered. Once you are registered today for today's session, then it is okay for accessing remaining sessions. Even if you are missing, suppose, one of the sessions like on 4th of June, you can access that session later on at different times on the 4th of June, or from 5th of June at the specified times on the register page of rdbsgde.com. Thank you for participating in this webinar. You will find this very much interesting further in upcoming days. We will be covering at least one deep learning project, because why am I saying at least one is just because it will require some training period for getting required accuracy. In upcoming sessions, one of the lecture will be conducted by Dr. Dheeraj Dhane. You may refer his information on the recommendations page of rdbsgde.com website. If you are having any doubts regarding installation, or if you are facing some errors, do not raise question directly in the webinar room, because in this room it may be not feasible for me to handle all the queries simultaneously, because there are large number of people in the room. So please send me the message using contact us page on rdbsgde.com. Mention your message or query that you have to solve during this installation, or anything related with today's session. Thank you.